What's up? It's Robert from Existence First. And today we're going to talk about the mind as a VIP club. We're going to start off with Microsoft Paint, the very sophisticated program. And we're going to start with a very brief intro of physics. So in physics, and this is the a branch of physics known as mechanics. Let's say you have a box sitting on a floor, right? And the box is not moving. If it's not moving, then that means that all of the forces acting on the box cancel each other out. So we know that there's a force of gravity pulling the box down, more specifically pulling it closer to the Earth, right? Earth is exerting that force. And you might think, well, there's nothing canceling that out, so why wouldn't the box be accelerating, right? It should. And that's because at the same time, there is also a force of the floor on the box. And we all know this because we know that if we put the box onto a table that is not strong enough, the box will break the table, right? In other words, the table is incapable of matching the force of gravity. So these two cancel each other out, right? And then you might come along and you might apply a force you might push the box and try to apply a force like this. And maybe the box is not moving. But if it's not moving, then there must be a force equal and opposite to this one that cancels it out. And this force would be the force F sub F, force of friction. And there's an equation for that based on I think it's called a coefficient of friction, basically the slipperiness of the surface. If this were happening on ice, then you could push the box much more easily, assuming that you had a strong foothold. Versus if you're trying to push the box while it's on concrete that has a much higher coefficient of friction, if I'm remembering the term correctly. So this is the branch of mechanics. I loved it because, once it gets complicated, when you've got pulleys holding these boxes with ropes, and then you have another pulley and another rope, and then you've got it gets complicated. But in the end, there's always an easy solution. Shouldn't say easy, there's a clear solution. And that clear solution, and you can solve, if you know certain numbers here, you can solve for various factors. Okay, so why am I drawing all of this? Well, when it comes to ourselves, let's do a new one. When it comes to ourselves, and we think, this is us. This is us, right? Obviously, yeah, if we're standing on the floor, then there's forces on us, but I'm not talking about our physical body. I want to talk about our energy system, okay? There's what I believe, this is 10 years after studying psychology and working in the field, I believe that people are more so life forces or energy systems that occupy their bodies, right? And their bodies help make that energy system possible. Same way as you cannot have a sound without the sound speaker, right? But the speaker is not really the sound. If you go to a concert and you hear the sound, that is sound energy, right? It's vibrations in the air, and they reach your ear, but they originate in the speaker. But you wouldn't say that the speaker is really like music. The speaker plays the music, it plays the sounds, right? And without, if you get rid of the speaker, there is no music. Like, you do not have a concert if you get rid of the speakers or the instruments. But so I think it's the same. So I think it's the same with, I think it's similar with humans. Okay, I think a lot about death. My best friend died when I was 27, and I think that I really think that the body is a vessel for this sort of life force, the same way that a speaker will play the music or an instrument will play the music, but there needs to be energy running through that instrument, right? There needs to be, you know, if it's a wind instrument, there needs to be air flowing through that wind instrument. If there's no energy flowing through that system, then an instrument that's not being played is like a physical body that is not alive, right? It's like a corpse. But when that instrument is being played, it's, you know, it's like magical almost. So in this image, I'm not talking about your body. I'm talking about your energy system. So if we look at your energy system, maybe you have a strong force of motivation for the day, right? But at the same time, there's a force holding you back of self-limitation. And hopefully this one is small. Hopefully it's a small arrow, it's a small force. Because if this one is smaller than this one, then your energy will still go in that direction. What's dangerous is when your energy or your self-limitation is so big and your force of motivation is so small, then you will actually go this way and backwards.